awarded 5-year blank purchase agreement with the Fish and Wildlife Refuge in California. Each year, it's like $250,000. Man, I was so happy. I was crying. Everything around you is contracts. 37% of those contracts don't get bid on. And anybody can have it if you apply yourself. I was in the streets, for real, for real. You can get money back, but you can't get time back. I'm telling you, man, this will change your life. Fear stops a lot. Just skunk right into it.
I have a special guest. I have Antonio, who has actually been interviewed before. He even is amazing, supports the lives. And he's here to talk about a contract type that several of you want to know about, and you don't know how to win it. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Welcome.
Hello, I am Antonio Chandler, and like Ms. Park said, I was here before for contracts that I was previously awarded, but now I'm back again. I'm the CEO of Fountain of Wealth LLC, and I was just awarded last year in November, which was my Christmas present to me, a blank purchase agreement for off-leaded diesel and unleaded gasoline, 5-year blank purchase agreement.
And who is it with?
It's with the Fish and Wildlife Refuge in Middleman, California.
I know that they're already like, wait a minute. Do you own a gas station? Do you have this family background of leaded and unleaded gasoline? Like, how did this come about?
Well, like I said on our previous interview, I was going hard at I don't own no gas, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna win one of these contracts. So I was manifesting it, and I kept going at it and kept submitting bids until I got really entrenched into, like, I ran across a family-owned gas and oil company. So it's not like the big companies, but they can manage the contract with me. And I just submitted a bid, and like maybe a month later, I got an email. I was like, oh, because the blank purchase agreement is different from a award letter. It's an agreement. So I was like, whoa. And they said, get this back to us before tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. I was like, I think I won this. So I signed and then sent it back to them, and they sent everything over to me, and I was like, yeah, it's on.
I have so many questions. First and foremost, I love the fact that you reached out to like a mom and pa. And I know people are already thinking, well, why didn't they bid on it? Why didn't the mom and pa company, why aren't they bidding on it?
Well, actually, it was one company that I did reach out to. They was like, nah, we're going to bid on this ourselves. And Pacific Solutions was the company that I went with. And they was like, they don't bid on government contracts because they don't nobody want to deal with the paperwork. So I was like, okay, well, just send me your bid then. And I ran with it because I was kind of intimidated at first because the other company was like, they going to bid on them. Like, man, they going to win. Because, you know, their prices probably was a little lower. But just so happened, it came back to me and it was like, we want you to do this. So I was like, cool.
I love that you didn't allow that to stop you. Because some people may have been like, oh, they're in a bid. I want to bid. I don't really know. Because most of us, we know oil and gas just from personal experiences or driving. So I love that you didn't do that.
Most definitely. Because the thing was just like, I'm going to get in because they let me peek behind the curtain. And, you know, me being from the streets, and I'm like, I can do this. And I've worked in construction fields with gas and oil. So it was just like, I can do this if I could just get somebody to give me a quote. And they gave me a quote and I ran with it. And like I say, that was my Christmas present to me. I was like, man, I was so happy. I was crying. I was like, because I knew, I kept saying that, you know, a lot of other rooms in the government contracting space is kind of full. Like certain stuff like janitorial stuff and stuff like that, that room be kind of full a little bit. So I wanted to separate myself and do something that I didn't see other people pretty much doing. So I was like, you know, I'm going to step in this room because I noticed, and by me being here in Texas, it's full of oil. But the difference between Texas and California, they have a lot of tax laws. But like the contracting officer, she alluded to, she was like, no, tell your subcontractor we are no tax exempt state. I mean, we're no tax exempt on gas and oil. So I was like, man. So that took my prices down a little bit lower. So I was like, okay, cool. I can stick with that, you know. So it all worked out though.
And what about the sub? How were they when you're like, hey, we won, and by the way, we're gonna need all this fuel?
Oh, boom. So that's where it started to get tricky because they didn't tell me about the line of credit that you have to have. So I pretty much had to pay out of pocket for what it is that gas and fuel that I need. So if you're jumping into this, you got to have that line of business, line of credit, and that on the flip side of ordering everything. And so like I'm taking it once I pay. See, I had to pay $5,000 to them for the oil, but my profit was like $6,000. on top of the 1,600 gallons that they just previously ordered. So I'm just going to stack and flip. So I'm just going to put that to the side and it just be that for that contract. So each time they order, I could just pay out of that portion that I just previously just previously ordered and double my profit. So the next order probably be like 11,000 or 9,000. And I could just pay them out of what I just stacked up. So,
which is such a great way to do it because you already have the contract. And for those watching, a blanket purchase agreement is they get it as they need it. That's what it's all about. And so what they're doing right now is they're also testing him out.
Yeah.
So they're not going to start off with, we want 1 million gallons because they don't know you.
No.
They're going to start low and then it's going to build up. And then by you putting the cash there and the more and more you do business with that group, they're going to loosen their accounts receivable too.
See, the thing is because for this year, it's 250,000 already set aside for the ordering process on this whole little year. So each year it's like 250,000 because the contracting officer, she's new.
Oh.
So she's like working with me. She's like, we're going to grow together, because she's new into doing this as well because she usually ordering off a gas card that they usually do. But since the numbers would be so high and the numbers fluctuate, each time they call, the pricing is different. My pricing can be different towards them. And that's something I was like, I had to go back and read through it like, well, wait. Because the number that I gave her when she called and she was like, okay, what's the price? She hit me back and she was like, well, that can't be right because the number that you gave me is not the right number. So I went back to the subcontractor and they gave me a different price because every day the gas and oil prices are different. So I went back to her and I was like, well, yeah, they added taxes to it. That's when she came and told me, she was like, we know taxes in. So, but I stayed at $7. But she was like, we're going to work together because I'm new to it and you're new to it. I was kind of afraid to tell her at first because I ain't want that, to be dinged, so I was like, okay, cool. She working with me. So that was a blessing in itself.
And the thing is, this is not uncommon.
No.
It's not uncommon at all because we're the type of people where we want to help. If someone's like, help, unless you think setup. Otherwise, if someone needs help, we're going to help them. I mean, I don't help anybody in Miami. I'm not going to lie. But otherwise, we help them. But if somebody's like, hey, I want to give you $100, you're like, stay away. Like,
yeah.
Like, we don't want that. You're trying to do something. What do you mean you're giving this to me for free? What do you want?
It's a catch to it.
There's a catch, right? So when somebody's like, oh, I'm new, and they're like, I'm new, let's learn. And what's beautiful is not only with the learning, but then you become the preferred vendor because they remember you.
Exactly.
You were like, oh, well, I'm going to complain because you want to do this, or, oh, you didn't tell me. And some contractors are like that. They do this, I want to run it up the pole and complain. And, there's a time and place if that really is necessary. But so what you're doing is so great. And then the other beautiful part, who knows where she may end up? Like, she's a Fish and Wildlife right now, but 5 years from now, she could be with Army. She could be with Department of State. And then she'll remember you.
Exactly. Like, I was so thankful. I actually broke down on my knees and was crying because I worked so hard to get to that point where I was just like, I'm going to win a gas and oil contract. That's why I reached back out to you because I was like, I just told her I was going to win. That's what I was shooting after. I'm going to win a gas and oil contract. And I manifested it. So I stuck with it. I kept going.
You sure did. He definitely manifested it. And what I love from your first interview is like, you talked about like so many times bidding. And your first wins were like DOD, was like Army, refereeing and stuff like that. You didn't give up.
No, not at all. I almost won just a couple of days ago. I almost won a real estate because I have a connection with the USDA and a contract specialist. He's always sending me requests for proposals for office spaces. Every month I get at least probably 15 to 16 requests that he sent me a list, but I just don't have the time to like go after them because real estate is different. But from this day forward, this year, I'm going hard at office spaces because if the guy that I was doing it, the office space from, if he had to just complied and work with me, man, that would have been like 14,000 a month. But the number scared him so bad that he was like, man, this can't be true. Because I'm like, if you giving it to me at $20 per square foot, I'm going to add $2 to that. And that's like $2 times, let's say they want 5,000 per square foot. That's a lot of bread.
It is a lot of bread. This is the thing that people also don't understand on the real estate side. The government will potentially buy your building.
Yeah.
I know someone secondhand where that happened, where they lease it, and then the government government bought it because it's more advantageous to buy the building, own the asset, than continue to pay you rent.
I'm talking about every month I get an email from the USDA, the contract specialist. Every month he's sending me at least 15 or 16 office spaces in different states that they're looking for. And a lot of times it's being like some cases where you have to really just dig in. But as a wholesaler, I used to wholesale. So I know how to find and search properties and look for the owners. And so I'm very good at that. So I'm just going to tone into that. And then that's going to be my bread and butter right there, the real estate side moving forward.
Definitely. And you know what you might even want to do just to show that person who was freaked out is once they make the award public, or if you can get the award information, just send it to them. Here, look, you can see the person who won. You can run the numbers backward. Because, and this is the other thing, I'm so passionate about this because I love the USDA. They're one of my favorites.
They spend the most. They the biggest, and he told me they spend the most. I was like,
people don't realize it. They don't realize it. They go toward DOD, and it's like we have had a contract with the USDA for over 10 years.
Wow.
They changed my life. Changed my life. And I love the USDA. Love the USDA. So what I learned, which is what you're doing, and that is the USDA owns so much property. They deal with not bankruptcies, with foreclosures. They deal with property management. They're leasing. There's so many opportunities because most people think, oh, HUD, or they think, oh, the Army or some DOD agency because of maybe their personal experiences or the barracks. And it's like you're overlooking the USDA. And the beautiful part too is typically they're cool with exactly what you explained. You own it. Because I know y'all are already thinking, wait a minute, how is he able to do that? I get gas, but how is he able to do that if he doesn't own it? It's no different than this Airbnb I'm in for another month. They don't own it.
Right.
They don't own this at all. They're making a cut by putting it out there. I pay what I pay, and then they manage a bunch of Airbnbs, not only in this building here in beautiful Tulum, but throughout wherever. And it's like, how is that any different? It's no different.
It ain't no different. Here's the thing. Everything around you is either a contract, real estate, and the government, they gives incentives on everything that's either oil or real estate. And with the government, they can't outsource their own work. So they know America is built on the backs of small businesses. They know this. So I just look at it as, coming from like the real estate part of the wholesaling world, it all makes sense to me to dive back into that part because they actually need this. And each time it'd be a lot of times that he sent it to me and it'd be stuff that he already did sent to me. It's because nobody is bidding on it or going to get it.
And how do you form this relationship with him? You don't have to go into details. Share what you're comfortable sharing, but because again, people are wondering, like, how do you even know this person? Because we always talk about, and I do too, get to know. And so whatever you're comfortable sharing, how did you get that connection?
Well, to make a long story short, I was looking to bid on something in Beaumont, Texas, and I was emailing him. I didn't call him out because I know, to me, I get a lot of response quickly from email. So he picked up the phone and he called me. He was like, well, hey, look, here's what's going to happen. A lot of times we make the move from one location to the next location. And he was like, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but roughly a lot of times the move will be between 1.2 million or $2 million to move from each location. And we pay the owner to renovate and do everything. And once they renovate everything, then we'll reimburse them. And he was like, if you can get the owner to write a letter and say that you can represent them on this deal, then we're going to move forward. And he was like, better yet, I tell you what, because what you're doing, I'm looking to do myself once I get out of government. He said, I'm going to add you to the distro list. And each time something comes available, I'm going to send it to you. He's been sending it like clockwork every month. So I was like, cool. That's a blessing in itself. And we've been jam ever since.
And I love that because that's also is really common. Yeah. Because we all think about our next step. Man, can't wait till lunch. Can't wait till the weekend. Can't wait till I retire. Can't wait till I'm
Exactly.
And so this person's putting it out there too, like, okay, I want to do this when I retire. Exactly. Or they leave the government because they understand and they know that this is overlooked. And I'm telling you all, although I personally haven't won anything like this type of a contract, I have been in, and probably several of you, a building that was rented by the government. One meeting I went to in the DC area, I think it was Maryland. It might have been, it was either Maryland or Virginia. And there was actually an earthquake while we were in there. They rented that building. There were times where I had a woman on Facebook group who was in the middle of doing the exact same thing as you. And she was really close to winning. And I know that there were some personal things that came up. So I think she had to put her priorities there. Plus, I've seen a lot of these opportunities.
Exactly.
You know? And so these freak people out, whether it freaks out an owner, like, there ain't no way they're going to pay me that much, because they don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know. And where? I mean, there's tons of training, like get rentals, multifamily, wholesaling, flipping this, and da-da-da. Who has a course out there, or who has something out there talking about, I predominantly rent to the government? Who is that person other than nobody?
Not from what I see. Not from what I see. Because the fact of the matter is, the office space was in Danville, Arkansas, in one of those little hick towns. And a guy called me yesterday. He was like, is the request for quote still open? Because he was the first guy I reached out to. And he was like, well, I have the building. And I'm like, bro, you a day late, dollar short, because I would have never dealt with that a-hole that I was dealing with the other day. I would have ran with you. And because when I submitted just the address to him, and he was like, well, the address is cool, but you have 15 other things that needed to be submitted, which is a bunch of other things that was on the RFP. But the guy that reached out to me yesterday, he had everything lined up. I told him, I was just like, bro, you too late. You too late. But he was like, if you run back across it or come back across your desk, let me be the first person you call. I was like, man, I will. I said, will.
It may not hurt to even reach out and say, listen, I know the date has passed. If for some reason, it does happen. You never know. Sometimes that does happen because you can't blame people. People don't know.
They don't.
Even if a Lockheed Martin type, a Raytheon is in their city, it doesn't mean they know what they do. A cousin may work there, an uncle, an aunt, a mom, or whoever, but they're not like, oh yeah, they got all these government contracts. We all know what we know, but this excites me because this is the play, and especially USDA.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I've even started to dabble in the city, state, and local side. I built a relationship with the contracting officer here in Baytown, and she was like, yeah, I deal with things more likely not to have too much documents. I just became an authorized reseller for like ink pens, tissue, and stuff like that, because I'm not going to be stepping over dollars to pick up dimes as well when it's right here in the backyard. So it's just like, lawn care, janitorial supplies, stuff like that. Man, you have to think about it. You have colleges, regular schools, fire department, everything's getting federal funded.
I just spoke to a woman where she owns a pest control company, and she's out of Texas, and she was sharing that she is going to a kind of like a walkthrough. It's in Austin. I think it's for a college. And it's like, people don't think about that. College they have to take care of the building, everything. Colleges lease buildings. Colleges buy, literally everything, but I would say with the exception of makeup, unless if they have a cosmetology kind of program, they probably buy makeup.
But people that's dealing with the city, state, and local side, the things that require documents, I stay away from it.
Right.
Because like lawn care services, just think about it. Summertime from the start. A lot of these federal buildings don't need that. Right in your backyard.
And especially since there's the push to go back to the office. We have an election year, which if there's a change in administration, the previous administration was all about working in the building. Yeah. So then if people are in the building, you can't buy with, we'll just have lawn care with that whenever. You're going to have lawn care. You're going to need more janitorial. You're going to need more services because it's going to become more heightened as far as like, oh, wow, we need more of something else.
And then to speak to the inauguration, it's like, what people got to look at is, man, it's finna be inauguration time. You got to think about all the charter buses that's the contracts finna be coming out, like the inauguration. They're going to need chairs. They're going to need barricades. They're going to need a lot of that stuff. So, and then I just seen before we got on that they approved like so many billions for Ukraine. Most people don't understand, like, they ain't just giving them people no money. Those contracts. those are contracts. I don't know why people get it in their head like they just giving the money away. No, those are contracts. You need to get on board with what's going on and open your eyes, open your mind to like, it's a bag in this. This is real wealth.
A huge bag. Like people, this is no BS. It just blows my mind because there's so many areas. I'm training, staffing, love me some staffing. Staffing, IT, professional services. That's what we've done. We're doing more staffing. Like that's our bread and butter. But what's cool is there's real estate, there's oil and gas, there's governmentpublishing.gov. You know, there's everything. There's Dibs. You can sell podcasting equipment. Like there's no shortage of what you can sell. And to your earlier point about paperwork, not every contract requires a 3-volume document. And that's not even including the state. I mean, I just had a lady send me something. I don't remember which state it was, but it's staffing. And basically, you just need past performance, the different insurance. You need to give them your rates. And anytime they need these positions, I guess like 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. or 12 p.m. to 12 a.m., that's when they need the people. And then they tell you, this is what you have to pay them. They're telling you the bus driver gets 15, this person gets 10, this person gets 8. And so then you add what you add, and your biggest job is how to find them, which is no different than your biggest job, how to find the real estate. Your biggest job, how to find the gas and oil. It's like a game of hide and go seek. That's all it is.
Google the best thing that ever happened to this position. Google is it. And Facebook, you got, because a lot of times them companies, from what I've been seeing, is what allows me to volume up is I do a email blast, because picking up calling get tedious sometimes. People respond way more quicker to their emails than they do a phone call, because we in a microwave society. Everybody want everything easy. So I have to tailor my game to how society is moving. So I send out an email blast and just be like, hey, who can I speak with to get a quote? Bop, bop, bop. And before the day is out, they've been to hit me back. I break things down from the scope of work, and I just shoot that to them. And then before I know it, before the deadline, they've been to hit me back with a quote.
It's brilliant. And I love that you pointed that out, because we are in that microwave era. I mean, there's this whole notion to shorten our attention span. So it's happening. And I love that you're leveraging Facebook. Because there is that thing where people are like, oh, I'm on Facebook. Oh, I'm on Facebook. Even here in Mexico, like I'm trying to get like a massage or my nails. And it's like, boop, Facebook. And I'm like, okay, that's like, they may not have a website, but they have a Facebook. It's like this thing where Facebook has become synonymous with a safe place to do business.
Exactly.
And so it's like, don't overlook them. And these vendors might not be on LinkedIn.
Well, a lot of times they'll have, because I'm not on Facebook. But when I click on it, a Facebook profile will pop up. And what I do is I get their email or their phone number off there. So I copy and paste their email, and I shoot whatever I need to shoot to them, ask them on there, hit right back. So it'd be more convenient. And a lot of times they either have Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Some of them have a YouTube channel. So it all works out. Only thing I really be looking for is the email. Once I get the email, like I was looking for catering services in Puerto Rico. I'm like, man, no, this ain't gonna pop up, but lo and behold, it popped up. And catering services in Puerto Rico, I reached out to them. So I'm just waiting on them to respond back. Like, hey, can you do this? How much can you do it for? So it'd be helpful.
It is definitely helpful. And it's great to, as you talked about earlier, like basically going into areas with less competition. Again, people, Puerto Rico, or maybe you think Puerto Rico vacation, and instead of, oh, I can actually sell. There's so many opportunities. Puerto Rico, Hawaii, Guam, Japan, Korea. I mean, all over the world, there are opportunities. And so very few companies are going to bid on it because it's like, oh, there's that factor. So
Fear stops a lot. And I've seen had y'all interview, and y'all was saying that people like to ask questions, can they pick your brain and whatnot. Man, look, you gotta stop that, man. Just get into it, man. just go right into it. I mean, if you could spend $500 to $600 on Jordans and Christian Louis Vuittons and all this, man, you could pay for knowledge.
You can. That's what I'm there with you. I love what Sheena said about that. It's true. I'm the same way. I have coaches, paid a lot more for coaches than for my PhD. And that's $1,000 a credit hour.
It's paid off though.
Of course it's paid off.
I could take you to the well, but I can't make you drink the water. It's all about when I leave you. See, that's why I do with most of the students that I have. I give them homework from 1 week to the next to make them follow up just like teacher would be. Because like I said, my last interview, I didn't want to be a teacher or anything like that. They just started reaching out to me. So I'm like, you know what? Either you gonna get it or you gonna get it or you gonna get it. One or two.
And I love that because my goal is to help everybody with their goals. And other big piece of that is to help people increase their revenue and have wealth. So I love the fact that whether it's you, other people who have been interviewed and people reach out and they're like, hey, will you coach me? Will you work with me? Because all it does is it provides more opportunities, more knowledge. As long as a person is, like you said, they're taking it, they're applying it, and they're adjusting it, because it doesn't matter who coaches you. You could work with somebody who was the director of the FDA, but if you apply what they're telling you, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's gonna crash and burn. So at the same time, it's just like, where else can you wake up, find opportunities to become wealthy every day with 97,000 contracts every day? And that's just on Sam.Gov. We ain't even talking about in your backyard. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it'd be so many different contracts that come across my desk. It's just be like, man, it can't be this much money out here like this. I'm seeing it.
No, there really is. I giggle because it really is. For instance, we were doing some stuff with IBM for a while. And so I saw some things and I was just like, oh, this is how that works. So it was really eye-opening. And then we subbed recently with another $1 billion company. And as a result of their relationship, we already knew before we submitted the proposal, we were winning.
Wow.
Because they needed us. They needed a small business on a GSA schedule.
See, that's be a lot of a reason that people step over things and they don't be understanding. Like, man, I'm telling you, man, this he'll change your life.
It does. And you can pivot or you can feel like, I already know you're going to win in real estate. Want to interview with you again. You can spend all your time in real estate. Let's say 3 years from now, you're like, okay, I want to venture out into glasses and start selling glasses. Okay, cool. You start selling glasses. Like, there's so many things that you can do in this space, as well as state and local. And state and local all depends on the governor and the mayors and what's going on with the state. And you never know. They need a lot of stuff. They need a lot.
See, if you look at it like what's going on at the border here in Texas now, man, all that's contracts.
Oh, yeah.
Even with the migrant crisis, all those are contracts. Everything around you is contracts. See, the reason why I'm going to go so hard at real estate is because I seen the numbers. I did the numbers and I seen the numbers. And I'm like, if I can just get 5 of those for this year and me pitching off that, doing the numbers and paying them what I would have paid them in Danville, Arkansas, they would have profited $60,000 and I would have profited $14 a month. So if I can get 5 of those, see, my whole buildup is to go buy a land or oil reserve. Because I have this website where I can bid on gas and land mineral rights for oil reserves throughout the country of the United States. But they want $1 million up front for like bidding purposes. So you got to be able to show that. Because a lot of these gas and oil contracts, man, because I see Robert Kiyosaki saying that when the gas prices went up, he got paid. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, how can I do that? So I wanted to investigate and doing digging, and it was like, okay, I got a partner on oil rig. He was like, you can go to this website and they actually sell oil reserves. You can bid on them and win them. That would exclude anything I'm dealing with other companies, and I could just provide that to them myself. That's just the smart way. That's just me thinking like a hustler. So I'm taking what I learned from the streets and bringing it here in this space.
But it's needed because successful businesses employ. You may call it business development, doing my business development. But how is that any different if you're buying the decision makers box tickets to the Super Bowl?
Exactly. One hand watch the other.
Right. You know, it's just at a different level. Or you hire a former political appointee. Or you have a financial relationship with an elected official because you contribute so much to their campaign or to a particular party. It's all the same game.
That's the reason I cut you off. That's the reason why they had to open the doors for people like us to get into federal government contracting, because Dick Cheney and the boys got caught.
And they just even upped the percentage to 5% for service disabled veteran-owned small businesses from 3%. And also the mindset. We have this Amazon mindset of, I know I do it. If I need, even here in Mexico, if I need something, I ask my girl and I'm like, hey, she's my trainer. I'm like, can you get this for me on Amazon? And then she gets it on Amazon because I trust Amazon. And government's the same. If they're so used to working with a big company, often it's like, well, why can't we go there? Well, because we have a mandate to spend with 25% of small businesses. So then that opens it up to us. And that's what makes them comfortable and why all of this they're comfortable with. If they weren't comfortable with this, pretty much none of us would have any contract with.
Exactly. That's what I get from it. I have a addictive personality because once I lock in, I hate to lose. That motivates me because I want to be on top of my game. I stopped doing everything that I was doing and I came into this space like to unlearn and relearn everything. I was in the streets for real. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to stop doing this and do this and see where it takes me. I'm here now and now I have a gas and oil contract. So next time we talk, maybe I have 2 or 3 more real estate contracts for office space.
You definitely will. If any of them are by chance, which probably won't be, but if any of them are woman-owned small business, you have me. I would be honored to partner with. We're in EDWSB. There's no reason because you already know the mechanisms. And even for people watching, you know the mechanisms for a particular area too. Maybe you know pest control, maybe you know janitorial, maybe you know electrical things. And once you kind of know that, and then you add in the resourcefulness and getting the information, it becomes perfect. It's like the perfect dish. And then it's about just putting yourself out there, and eventually you'll win. Especially if it's with the same agency, they're going to be like, oh man, this is the 12th time they put in for a real estate bid. Let's just give them a try. People who are in the government space buying real estate, they already know. They already know what they're doing. And then if I may just add one other thing, and that is we have a government client and their building has asbestos. And it's a government-owned building because even when you think about it, what do these government-owned buildings look like? They're not brand new unless it's a new build or a particular agency moved. So they were in this old building with asbestos. So then they had to temporarily relocate everybody, take care of the building. So that's why the leasing is such a great market because they know where are we getting a new building?
Exactly. A lot of times they'll be requesting for you to either build a new building. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be like, man, because a lot of these leases be like for 15 or 20 years. Yeah. That's a long time to be getting $14,000, $15,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, that's a long time because it's, like I said, I'm going to hone in on it starting next month and I'm just going to run with it. I'm going to run with just the real estate side of it. I'm still going to be getting on other things, but I'm just going, my main focus is going to be a lot on just the real estate side of things.
Well, I'm excited. Keep me up to date. It motivates me. So I know it's motivating y'all. It makes me want to bid on some kind of real estate thing. It does just because I'm just interested. I'm like, hey, it's something different just to do it. I mean, it's not like we're pivoting our business to start doing that. But I think it's really interesting. I know I have a colleague who has a contract with FEMA to provide temporary housing.
Oh, yeah. I think at the start of last year or start of this year, one of the housing authority for like low income, they also was looking to get stuff built and stuff like that as well for buildings and stuff like that. Because you have to think about it, man. I mean, low incomes are government, you know.
Right.
It all makes sense to me now that I'm in this space. And it's just like a lot of the things I was already thinking, because I'm one of the ones I pray for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I don't pray for things. I pray for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding like King Solomon. And I've always had that notion ever since I was like 11 or 12 years old to just pray for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding because I seen Solomon do it. So I was just like, that's one of the things I want to pray for. And he accumulated a lot of the things with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I think that's what pretty much led me to this space because I was like purpose driven. More likely this is my purpose to be in this space because I see wealth all around it. And anybody can have it if you apply yourself.
Yes. I mean, it is. It's a beautiful part. There's so many opportunities. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to be competing against Antonio, maybe competing against Kizzy. It's like there's so many opportunities.
Every day.
With state and local like this, I know like in maybe a year or two, I'm going to hire somebody specifically for state and local because there are so many staffing opportunities.
So many. You have 50 states, right? And just think about all the city and local municipalities, even with the schools, the colleges. man, it's so many contracts. And a lot of times all those contracts don't even get bidded on. 37% of those contracts don't get bidded on. That's a lot.
It is a lot. And then they're frustrated. They want the best deal. And then it's like, well, nobody's bidding, or, you got to give it to somebody where you're like, man, there's nobody else. And I get it if it's something very, very technical or very specific. I imagine a lot of these, they're not. I mean, I know the one state one that we bid on eons ago, I believe there were maybe 14 or 15 of us who bid. We predominantly sub. We have a big company. They're a $1 billion a year company. They have a prime contract with the great state of Florida, and we provide staffing. So we make a nice cut every month. We have people who work in the great schools in Florida on behalf of us.
See, that's if you think about it, it's just like, man, you have all these different cities and states and little towns or whatnot, counties, and the different schools. Those are a lot of contracts. That's a lot of money.
Ton of money. And that's why it's like, I love this space so much, because if you want to do it as a side hustle and maybe win a couple contracts here or there, you can. If you want to build a 10, 20, 40, 50, 60 million dollar a year business, you can. If you want to just have a certain amount every month, you can. Like, it's almost like that whole notion like grows with you kind of concept. It truly does. Even as political things occur, you just ebb and flow, especially as long as you're not involved in things that are too political. You don't have to worry about it.
Anytime, I mean, it's just like the government ain't going. The government is not going any. I don't care who get in office. It's not going anywhere, because it's a real bag. I be looking at people like, man, you ain't seen no real money. Maybe I'm wrong, but it ain't nothing nobody else can offer me. The government got everything. Print the money. They got everything that I need. I don't have to chase. I don't have to market to nobody. I don't have to do none of that. I just submit, and that's it. So I love it. I'm glad this is my, year and a half in. I can't wait till I get to that 5-year mark just to look back, just say, well, okay, I came from here to here.
Which you will, because what most people do is what happens in life in general, whether it's the gym, it's with a new habit, is they give up. They give up. Oh, I tried it. It was too hard. I don't want to do it. And I get it. I've had my shares while I'm in Mexico to lose weight. Listen, I know it happens. And so there's going to be a lot of people who start and stop and start and stop and start and stop over the 5 years, where your 5 years, you're learning, adjusting, because you're applying it. And then you're going to be at a place or corner a market. Because the other thing is, it takes one win. So he has one oil and gas. Now he can win more, because they're not going to be skeptical. They're going to be like, oh, well, he has this one. Okay. It takes one real estate. Then it's, oh, well, does Department of Interior have real estate? Does Department of State have real estate? Army have real estate? Because they're going to say, oh, he has one. All it takes is one. And then you build, especially if you hone in, and then you can hone in on areas.
That's the main thing of holding in, because I had a student, he was so ready to quit. And I had to tell him, I'm like, bro, look, you only fail if you quit. That's the only time you really fail, if you quit. I like things hard, because anything easy is going to always fade away. So I told him, I was like, well, just keep submitting. And the next week he hit me up. He was like, bro, I think I won a contract, bro. I was like, it was for fencing. I was like, well, what did it say? He was like, it said, congratulations. I said, bro, you won. So the next 2 weeks he hit me back. He was like, bro, I think I won another one. I said, see, timing is everything. You can't rush time. You can't rush God's time. You can get money back, but you can't get time back. Time is way more precious than money. So if you just hone in and you don't quit, because like we were just stating, that it's a microwave society. Everybody wants things like this. It don't work like that. It do not work like that. If you keep trying, you're going to get the results that you're looking for. I can promise you that. I can almost bet my life on it. You're going to get the results.
You will. You definitely will. Because it's like you said, you don't quit. God has a plan, and it's within time, it'll happen. I mean, it'll happen, And also, I would add, don't compare. Sometimes people are like, oh, I've been doing this 3 weeks. Okay, so I don't know of anyone. I've never heard LeBron say like, oh, I played for 3 weeks. I mean, like, there's no one who's successful who was like, oh, it took me 3 weeks. So yeah, there may be somebody who out the gate wins a contract within 3 weeks. It's okay. Just stay the course.
He just said, keep your eyes on your own paper. Keep your eye on your own paper, because what works for them is not going to necessarily work for you. But the process is still the same. Just keep submitting. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. When. Some people win on their first try. Right. Some people win 9 months from later. Some people win 2 years out. Who's to say? You just got to keep submitting. And that first one is going to feel like the gates of heaven have opened.
It truly is. You're going to hopefully want more and realize you can make it what you want to make it. That's why I like to equate it to a side hustle. If you want it to be a side hustle, it can be a side hustle. If you're like, listen, I want this to be my main thing, it can be your main thing too. It's truly up to you.
It truly is. Like I said, I'm not going to say that on camera, but I was coming from California on the state line of Illinois and Iowa. There was so many state troopers down up on just between that area on the last little count on the line. I was like, man, if you let me out of this one, I'm going into government contract. That's for real. Because it's like, I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? I can't keep doing this. So that pretty much just changed my life and was like, man, you know what? This is where you need to be. Just go cold turkey.
Right. Go cold turkey. And we've all had those moments. We've all had those moments where we were like, we have to shift what we're doing. The path that we are on is not going to get us where we want to be. It's not a higher level path. And so you took that path and now you're at a higher level path. You're helping people. You're helping your students. You're helping yourself. You're helping your friends and family. Like, that's what's so beautiful. And that's also what's great about this space. It's a very loving, I would say it's loving and a forgiving space. It's not like you have to have a college degree, you have to fit a certain type. It's you're an entrepreneur. Exactly. And the thing is, when you're an entrepreneur, who cares? Like, I don't ask the cleaning lady detailed questions. I just know she's amazing. And I know on the board, she takes my towels and has them washed and delivers them. I don't know why she does it. It's very beautiful. I love it. If they had to fix the air conditioner, I don't know anything about that man. I know he fixed the air conditioner. Or like when you buy stuff, the hair products I've been buying, I don't know who these people are. All I know is their hair products. So how is that any different with buying from state and local and federal government? They just know they need oil and gas. They need real estate. They need tree trimming. They need fencing. As long as you're not out there scamming them, that's not and there's a lot of government employees scamming too. I'm just saying that there's some articles y'all can Google and see that.
It's gonna be hard to do that anyway if you're talking about, because they on point. Trust me, they are on point, and they not giving you no money up front for nothing. Sometimes it happens, but a lot of times they're not giving you nothing up front. So everything is, for the most part, the only thing I can tell people is man, just dive in. Just dive in, man. I swear, it's such a beautiful place. You ain't gonna get rich overnight. That you won't happen. But if you can build those contracts, see, my main thing was to give a 5-year contract. I had bid it on that I just got back the information that I had lost so many barrels of lubricant oil, and I would have profited 1.4 million off that. And I was like so sick because I was so harped up on it, because the contracting officer reached out to me. She was like, "Are you sure this is your final offer price?" I was like, yes. I said, yes, quick.
Oh, no.
And she was like, sorry to notify you that we went with, it was only 2 of us.
Oh, no.
Bid it on.
It's okay, though. It's okay, because that's code for I need a discount.
I put 1%. Gave me 1% discount.
No, like a discount. Anytime because you didn't know. Anytime, this, for real, y'all. Anytime you get that as a call or an email, that is code for I want a discount, like a discount. So that's why they say it's just your best and final, because they'll do that with a competitor or anybody else. So then now what they're doing is what we do. What's it at Target? What's it at Walmart? Oh, and then I went to the desk at Walmart and they said they'll meet the price of Target. It's like that mentality. So that's why they did that, because they want you to discount it 5%, 10%.
Wow. Because my profit was 1.4 million, and I could have knocked that down. I could have profited 500 on it. I still would have been good. So it was like, man, if I would have knew that, because I gave him like a 1% discount. So I just like, man,
it's okay.
Now that I know,
it's okay. And then here's the other amazing thing too. This is awesome, because listen, I did a lot of crazy stuff for 10 years of government contracting. So please, y'all know this. So the other thing is, take a look at the winning bid and the name of the company. So then you can work their math backwards. So then the next time something similar comes up, you already know what their numbers are, because you're able to work it backward.
Exactly.
Just in case. I mean, so it's still a blessing in disguise, because it's going to take to win the next one.
Exactly. Because I actually I actually partner with this women-owned based company out of Louisiana. And I send them pretty much all my gas and oil information when it's not, because they don't deal with like California stuff like that. But anywhere in the surrounding areas like Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, anywhere where the taxes is not stupid high, she pretty much gives me quotes for them. So she's my go-to. So that's who I got the quote from now that we almost won that one. And her name is Cora. She gives me the game on the gas and oil tip. So she gives me the whole full game on the gas and oil tip. So I'm just rubbing elbows and kissing babies, man. That's it.
I love that. I love saying that. You are. And that's what it takes, y'all. Because this is real world. This is real world. Like, this is what happens. There's so many things that happen in being a government contractor. It's not like you're just in the car going on a drive. Like, there's all kinds of stuff that happens. And then there's protests, which I haven't even ever made a video on yet. There's all kinds of weird things that occur. But what's beautiful is, like you said, you got to go out, bid, execute, try it out. How can people get in contact with you, Antonio?
Same as usual, Fountain of Wealth. You can email me at fountainofwealthllc@gmail.com and kingdom@fountainofwealthllc.com.
And please reach out. This is so exhilarating. It truly is. And I can't thank you enough. I'm looking forward to you win the real estate property management. I'm going to interview you again.
That sounds good to me. Thank you for your time. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Don't forget, everybody, hit the notification, hit the like button, subscribe, and that everything is possible. Until next time, take care.